And we're back on Plática Política. We're going to take a little bit of a different direction. There's a concerning new trend in San Antonio. I shouldn't say new, but it is an increased trend in which there have been close to 3,000 commercial vehicle accidents in Bexar County alone. And out of those, 18 of them were fatalities. So joining us this morning is David Tijerina from Carabin Law to talk about that concerning trend. David, how are you doing this morning?
I am doing well. It's good to see you, Robert.
It's good to see you. Welcome to Plática Política. Hey, listen, what is going on with these 18-wheeler issues?
Well, I see I'm not surprised there's an increase. In the state of Texas in particular, and a lot of the states in the South, there are laws that protect 18-wheelers. It's not that easy to sue them.
Okay.
That's why you see a lot of attorneys advertising a particular expertise. With regard to our expertise, I actually defended them for the first 5 years of my career at a big law firm in Dallas. Now I jumped to the other side. Kirsten Carabin, who owns the law firm, she actually managed an 18-wheeler. But the answer to your question is just, I think the 18-wheeler companies have been lulled into a sense of security because the plaintiff's attorneys do have to jump through a lot of hoops. We have to jump through a lot of hoops in order to sue them, in order to recover. Also, I think that there's probably been less of an incentive on their part as the laws start to protect these 18-wheelers to follow the federal rules. They have particular federal rules that they have to apply, the federal standards, and they're not governed so much, although they are, by the same laws that you and I have to abide by. And it's just a matter of getting, items to stores and deliveries and having to meet deadlines. So with all of these factors come into play, and you see an increase in catastrophic injuries.
So obviously, other than size and all that, why are 18-wheeler crashes more catastrophic, I can't talk this morning, than regular passenger vehicle accidents?
Well, the main reason is the sheer size
of
an 18-wheeler. You're talking about a several thousand-pound truck on the road. They cannot stop. So often when I'm driving on the road, I never drive in back of one, I never drive in front of one, and I certainly don't drive to the side because it's very difficult for them to see. But you're talking about an 18-wheeler. Many of them are governed. That means that they can't go over a certain speed. But even at 50, 60 miles per hour, they cannot stop like a vehicle. A vehicle, you put your brakes in and it stops within a quantifiable and expected amount of time, depending on how fast you're going. But an 18-wheeler, they cannot stop. It takes a while. So if you pull in front of them and brake check them, you're likely to get hit. And then the sheer weight of the 18-wheeler causes so much damage. And then the increased damage oftentimes leads to more severe injury. So I have handled over the years 18-wheeler accidents involving fatalities. That's one thing, but you can, even if it doesn't kill you when you get hit by an 18-wheeler, it certainly can change your life forever because you can end up with catastrophic, ongoing chronic injury.
You brought up something really interesting about staying away from the truck as far as don't go around it or, just avoid their blind spots. So what should drivers who are not 18-wheeler drivers, but regular, Mrs. Martinez driving on the road, what should she need to know, or what does she need to know about blind spots that these trucks have?
Okay. So it's hard to say, at this part of the 18-wheeler, if you're on the side, you're not going to be seen. Okay. It's best to assume that when you're driving next to an 18-wheeler, they cannot see you. So it's your job to make sure they see you. The only way that happens is if you're driving on front of them, preferably not in front of them, but forward, so in the next lane so they can see you, or back because they can see through the rearview mirrors pretty far back. Okay. Sure. Many of the new 18-wheelers have cameras as they can see in front, in the back, but I wouldn't rely on that. I wouldn't say, let me drive in front of an 18-wheeler, because I'm sure he's going to be able to see me. If you have to brake unexpectedly, then you're risking the fact that they may hit you. And understand you don't want to have any car accidents, but an 18-wheeler strike is something that you will remember for the rest of your life. So don't drive in the blind spots. That's usually the same as a car. Don't drive to the sides. Don't drive. It's probably safer to drive in back of them with enough distance. But if you can, always drive way in front, way in back, not in the same lane.
Okay, that's interesting. So God forbid we are in an accident with an 18-wheeler. Is the 18-wheeler automatically held responsible? The company, the driver, what does that look like?
No. You can be found at fault, particularly by the carrier, by the insurance company. If you say
you're talking about the driver, the passengers of the passenger vehicles, not the commercial drivers.
I'm talking about I'm talking about automobiles, passenger vehicles. You can be found to be the cause of an accident. I handled one where it was a head-on collision, and it was the father who he had his 3 children and a wife in the vehicle, and he was, after we got all of the detectors and we had the readings, mechanical readings to show how fast he was driving, he lost control of his car, hit head on, and killed his whole family. So yes, you can be found to be liable, but understand that even if you think you're at fault, the 18-wheeler companies have a lot of federal regulations that they have to comply with. So it behooves you to call a lawyer. Hopefully you're calling Carolyn Law, but call a lawyer who understands that just because you say, well, I was leaving a private drive and he was already in the road, so obviously it was my fault. It's not always what it seems. The 18-wheeler has to follow a multitude of regulations. And if they did not follow a certain regulation that would have kept them from hitting you, regardless of the fact that you left a private drive, that's a case that I can't promise you anything, but that's a case that I want to take a look at.
So let me ask you this. God forbid someone is in an accident, on their way home, whether it's an 18-wheeler or a regular, passenger vehicle. What do we need to know? What's the first thing we should do? Like, should we be calling a lawyer right away? Should we call the cops? Should we take pictures? What does that look like?
Well, if you call a lawyer right away, yes, that would be called me. But this is what I would say, assuming you are not hurt. Rule number 1, if you're hurt, call an ambulance, get some medical treatment. That's always the most important thing, because you could be dealing with a significant head injury, and sometimes head injuries get worse very quickly. And then by the time you get medical treatment, you can be in a really difficult position medically. But if you are okay, if you feel up to it, the best thing to do is to take photos. And one of the mistakes that people make all the time, and I think it's just maybe human nature, is if there's a dent in the car, they give me a picture of the dent. Yeah, that's wonderful, but I need you to stand back.
You need the whole car, not just the little dent.
And preferably, you take one from the front, the back, the sides. Then you can take a picture of the dents right up close. But I need to see the whole vehicle. And today, they didn't have this when I was young, but today you can go like that to enlarge. So
yeah, you can zoom in. Yeah, now you can zoom in the pictures.
Yeah, I don't even know the zoom. I just say you can go like that. Okay, and
go like that.
I can see the dent. I don't need you to be on top of the dent.
Yeah.
And then take a picture of the 18-wheeler. I need now 18-wheelers, it's not just licenses. They have identifying information on the doors. That helps me. It tells me who the company is.
Yeah.
It tells me, where I need to send the letters, where I need to send letters of representation. And later on, it helps me to determine who I need to sue.
No, absolutely. All right. And how can people get a hold of you, David?
Okay, I work at Carabin Law. It is owned by the famous Kirsten Carabin. Now, I want to make this very clear. We are Carabin Law. There is no other name. There is another firm that has two names in it. That's Kirsten's old firm. There is no Carabin at that firm. We
Okay.
work at Carabin Law, and I'm a partner at the firm. And we are at 210-224-5555. And we have, well, we're soon to be 3 offices. We're right now 2 offices, one near San Antonio College on Locust Street. And then we
Nice.
also have one on the south side on Southwest Military Drive.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us, David. You're listening to Plática Política on KEDA Radio Jalapeno. We'll be right back.